car category, ahead of the Gauteng Subaru of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman. After stage 3, the name Fecken is again in a familiar spot, and the same counts for Hubby and Keen. The names Damso and Cronier are noticeably missing from the leaderboard, and Lola Verlaque moves into the top 10. After the break, the action on the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally heats up as a typical Highveld thunderstorm moves closer. 3 of 16 stages, newly crowned champions Fecken and Aries were in the lead, but only by 4 seconds from Jan Hubby and Douglas Judd.
No, that clean stage is nothing out of the ordinary.
Charles Wilkin was setting a blistering pace in the production car category.
Yeah, it's going well, except for car overheating, so we're driving with the heater on in this heat, so it's very hot in the car.
Off to stage 4, Harem was an 18.7 kilometer test of driving skill and bravery north of Bronkhorstspruit, followed by a repeat of each of the first 3 stages of the day. So 7 stages in total for day 1 of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally. A tough day for the crews. The sisters, Lola and Megan Verlaque, or the Rally Chicks as they are known, managed to claw their way into the top 10 on the overall leaderboard in their Team Total Evolution Mitsubishi Lancer. The Rally Chicks missed the previous round in Cape Town due to African Rally Championship commitments, but here in Gauteng, the sisters were back in full force. Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe in their Afrox Subaru were trying their very best to catch Wilkin, but they were unable to close the gap. The pair also suffered from a puncture on stage 6, which cost them around 3 minutes, but fortunately for this determined crew, it only dropped them from 8th to 9th overall.
Yeah, I tell you what, it doesn't rain but it pours. The previous stage, first corner, the sandbank took the wheel off the rim. It was too far to go, so we had to change. We lost 3 minutes.
This allowed the outgoing production car and Class N4 champion Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman to move into 8th overall. The Gauteng Subaru ended day 1 second in production cars, but nearly 3 minutes from the production car lead. Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were suffering from a lack of time behind the wheel of their Ronix, following their 2 previous retirements. The pair was, however, still driving steady and completed the day in 7th position, in spite of getting a puncture on stage 4.
Right, 3 tightest to 5.
We lost the time of the puncture, we can't make it back, so it just settled into a nice rhythm.
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich have won regional championships on these rally roads before, and the Pretoria driver was simply flying in the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru, mixing it up with the S2000 machines and leading the way in the production car battle. Wilkin ended day 1 in a very respectable 6th position overall, less than a minute from the overall lead.
Still battling with overheating, and we just had a flat wheel in the previous stage. So we lost a few seconds there, but it's still going well.
Ahead of Wilkin, Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were pushing hard in their BP Ultimate Volkswagen Polo. Before this loop of stages, the 2006 champion was lying in 3rd and only 14 seconds off the lead, but a power steering problem robbed him of valuable seconds and dropped him down to 5th.
At the end of the day, we've had a couple of tough stages now because we've lost the power steering, so it's incredibly difficult to drive. So we're losing a second a kilometre, so we've dropped back to 4th position, unfortunately.
The surprise of the event so far was the speed of John and Douglas Williams in the Williams Polo. The youngster has improved on every event so far this season, and although he didn't win any stages, he was well and truly mixing it up with the guys that only a few years ago were still his heroes. He ended day 1 in 4th.
Yeah, the car's what John always wanted in the car. The car's magnificent. A little bit of notes from Guy Hodgson helped me yesterday, told me what to do as an old man. And yeah, it's going a lot better than it has been for a long while.
The BP Ultimate Polo of Hubby and Judd started the second half of the opening day stages just 4 seconds off the lead, but the pair could only manage the 7th fastest time in stage 4, followed by 5th in stage 5.
The route is not very clear, so sometimes it's actually very difficult to find it. So we've had 1 or 2 overshoots. We had to go past and come back, so, you know, these things happen.
But the champions were in the mood for a fight, and they hit back by winning stages 6 and 7 on the trot, moving them right back into contention again. They completed the day in 3rd, just 15 seconds off the overall lead. After losing nearly 13 minutes in stage 2, the Castle Toyota Auris of Mark Rooney and Robert Paisley were back on the stages, setting the 3rd fastest time on stage 4. But their nightmare finally came to a complete stop when the Auris refused to start after stage 5. It was now up to Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh to defend Toyota's honor on their home event, and they did not disappoint. The remaining Castrol Toyota Auris flew through stage 4 in a winning time of just 12 minutes and 38 seconds. That was enough to move them into second position overall, a position they managed to hold on to until the end of the day. When Habig and Judd lost some time on stage 4, Fecken and Aries and the sister BP Ultimate Polo grabbed the opportunity to jump into the lead. They extended this lead even further by winning stage 5 and maintained it in stage 6 to have a comfortable 21-second advantage over Gemmell with only one stage of the opening day to go. Surely, Fecken and Aries could defend 21 seconds. But their time looked slow. They needed a time of 4 minutes and 54 seconds to stay in the lead. Their time, 4 minutes and 54 seconds. A puncture cost them loads of time and nearly the lead.
About 3K from the end, and we battled quite severely at the end, but luckily it wasn't that far.
So all of Fecken's hard work disappeared after a 21-second lead turned into only a 1-second lead at the end of day 1. Gemmell was second, with a determined Habig breathing down his neck. Williams impressed in fourth, ahead of Keane and his power steering problems. Wilken was highly placed for a production car, ahead of Van Niekerk, Duplessis, Latergan and the Verlaque sisters, who rounded off the top 10.
Behind the top 10, the rest of the 50-car field was also battling it out. Besides the competition, they also had to face strong winds, dust and a closing Highveld thunderstorm. In the top two-wheel drive class A7, local teams Skalkburger and Armand de Toy in their Triple S panel beaters Toyota Corolla flew out of the block straight into an early lead. Mechanical trouble in stage 3 dropped them out of the top 3, but a great time in stage 5 put Burger back in front for the rest of the day. The motorized Toyota Run X of Evan Hutchinson and Greg Gericke moved into the Class A7 lead for a few stages, but the Run X refused to start after they stalled it in stage 5, costing them 16 minutes and all chances of a class podium. Nico Hicks and Gert Nienaber briefly moved into a class top 3 in the Secunda Toyota Run X, but the engine called it a day during stage 6. Behind Burger, Tien Schubert and Henny Boertes had a clean run to occupy second in class in the Salom Group VW Polo, ahead of the similar net connect machine of Adrian Kaap and Menno Havelaar. Class veterans and already champions Craig Trott and Tony Ball had a clean run on day 1 to finish in second position, but there was nothing they could do about the pace of young Stefan Wilken and Llewellyn Fourie in the Panhard Seeds VW Polo. Wilken won every stage and opened up a commanding class lead to finish the day in an excellent 12th position overall. A broken radiator in stage 1 prevented Class A6 rivals Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin from joining this battle. Class A5 is the entry-level class for up-and-coming drivers, and on day 1 of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally, this class was all about David Compton and Paul Leslie in their Cecil Toyota Yaris. Compton took the lead on stage 1 and maintained for the rest of the day. Steve Mearns and Kieran Noonan in the multi-purpose cement Toyota Taz occupied second for most of the day, but a broken gearbox forced them to retire. This left the door open for the Toyota Taz of Chart Conradi and Tian Rabe to take over second position, ahead of the Volkswagen City Golf of Morne Janssen van Rensburg and Mark Ovine, who rounded off Class A5. Class N3 is a rapid front-wheel drive class for production cars with an engine capacity of up to 2 litres. The Zimbabwean pairing of Chase Atwell and Dave Milner finally got rid of their season's bad luck in the Johns Way Toyota Run X and took the Class N3 lead thanks to some inspiring driving from the youngster. Etienne Lawrence and Alvin Coetzee Ford Racing Fiesta briefly led for 2 stages until the Fiesta engine gave up the ghost in stage 5, allowing the Cecil Toyota Run X of Cape Town driver Etienne de Toy and Patrick Vermaak to take over second position. They were followed by the similar machine of Natalians Costa Koumaterakis and Lau Zietsman. Class N2 was again a lonely affair for husband and wife Rian and Hester Erasmus in the ABC Motors Toyota Corolla. They were still going at the end of day 1.
Fecken has a slender 1-second advantage over Gemmell, with Habig also within striking distance. Wilken has daylight between himself and the rest of the Class N4 field. Skalkburger leads Class A7, and Stefan Wilken has more than 4 minutes between himself and Craig Trott in Class A6. Day one of the Toyota dealer Gauteng Rally ended with a high-felt thunderstorm closing in. This rally has seen lots of water in the past, but the storm only splashed the roads, and day two dawned dry and clear. A fresh start for the remaining 34 rally crews and a new playground. Day two was all based in and around the Rally Star facility, close to Bobsfontein, east of Johannesburg and Pretoria. Rally Star is a mecca for rally drivers and teams in Gauteng, and home to the famous Super Special stage and the Rally Star Driving Academy. On this day, it was also home to the final day of the 2008 Sasol South African Rally Championship and the showdown between the country's top gravel drivers. For the final time this year, the leading 8 drivers get to choose their starting positions for the second day. Normally, the starting order for day 2 is a perfect reversal of the standings after day 1, but this time the teams had different strategies. The first 4 chose 8th, 7th, 6th and 5th respectively, but 5th placed Keen chose first.
Yeah, we chose first. I think we're confident to make our own lines and we don't want to be intimidated. I think there was a risk for us also to finish behind or start this morning behind an N4 car, which we don't want.
We decided to take the position a little bit further back. Maybe the roads would be swept a bit more, and at least you have more definite lines and more markers where the other guys have been and where they've gone. So it just makes it slightly easier to find the route, because the route is a little bit vague here and there.
Stage 8 was a 16-kilometer affair just west of Rally Star, full of dips, jumps and bumps. With the standings as close as they were, there was no time for the drivers to warm up. They had to attack from the word go. The BP Ultimate Polo of Keen and Hodgson was the first car to tackle Marius. Remember, Keen suffered from power steering problems on day 1 and was, excuse the pun, keen to make up for the lost time. He set the benchmark time of 10 minutes and 16 seconds.
We're comfortable running first on these roads and, you know, making our own lines and brake markers. It's very point and squirt, so I'm happy and confident to go first. It's a new day and got to catch up, and we lost a lot of time yesterday.
It was clear that Visser Du Plessis was not going to defend his 2007 production car title, but Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman were still enjoying themselves in the Pertic Subaru while trying to fend off the challenge by Hein Latergat.
You know, Erwin spoke to me this morning about the whole thing with Paul's death, and he said, Visser, you know, because he had a family member die in 1974, and he just told me, you've got to go flat out, otherwise you're in danger, because you don't concentrate. And I'm not saying I'm going flat out, but I'm concentrating and I'm driving better, and that helps. It makes me feel better at least.
Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton nearly had a big moment with their Toyota Runnix in this rough section, but recovered well to set the 7th fastest time.
Yeah, left, and then wide right. Watch it.
Had a good stage. Happy with it.
Wilken and Godwich were on a mission in their Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru. The production car title was now a sure thing, so the pair had their sights set on a good overall finish. After stage 8, they were in 5th, just 30 seconds away from a podium position.
Yeah, I'm sure we lost some time there. I tried hard though, but yeah.
The rising star John Williams was having one of his best ever outings in the Williams Polo and set a competitive stage time to maintain his 4th position overall. But he had Enzo Keen breathing down his neck. Habig and Judd set the 5th fastest time in their BP Ultimate Polo on stage 8, losing 7 seconds to teammates Keen in the process. But what about the fight between Fecken and Gemmel? Remember, the difference before this stage was a mere second, so the outcome on this stage could well determine the lead. And then, for the umpteenth time this year, Lady Luck again turned her back on Gemmel and Marsh. From the Atterbury Properties helicopter, it was clear that Gemmel was going very slowly.
Temperature's all right. Medium right here, don't miss it, grassy. Maybe just a misfire.
It was indeed a misfire that cost them more than a minute and dropped them from 2nd to 6th position. Fecken and Uddies had no such problems. The BP Ultimate Polo flew through the first stage of the Saturday morning to once again lay the gauntlet down. The fastest time of 10 minutes and 16 seconds so far was set by Keen, but Fecken crosses the flying finish 2 seconds quicker.
It's very fast, in the tricky section with the dips and jumps, but we had a good stage. Looks like we got the same time as Enzo.
Before heading back to service, it was time for some head-to-head racing around the Rally Star Super Special stage. In a Super Special, 2 cars start the stage at the same time, with each doing a long and a short loop. After both loops, the cars should arrive at the flying finish at the same time.